In this video, Kevin is going to be making Eton mess. This is from the London Cookbook. This was sent to us from Dan and Connie in New York, so thank you very much to Dan and Connie. So for Eton mess, Kevin's going to tell us what we need.
You need 2/3 a cup of sugar for the meringue. This is just for the meringue. 2/3 a cup of sugar and 2 egg whites. Make sure you don't get any yolk in it, or it won't whip up really nice. And then for the mess, you need 6 ounces or 8 ounces of strawberries. I think this is a 16 ounce, but you need 8 ounces of fresh strawberries. You're gonna hull those or take the inside out and quarter them. You need another 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 cups of heavy cream, just heavy whipping cream, and a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. So I'm going to measure out my sugar for this, put the other stuff up, and I'll be back. Alright, so I got everything else put up. I've got my egg whites and I've measured out my 2/3 of a cup of sugar. I have a first of all, I'll turn my oven on 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I have a baking sheet with just a piece of parchment paper on it, and I've got a spatula just so I can get it out. So basically what you're going to do is put your egg whites in your mixer.
So what are we making right now?
We're making meringue. This one's going to bake, once we put it on the pan, it's going to bake at 200 degrees, which is pretty low. It's going to bake at 200 degrees for 6 to 7 hours to get it fully dried out. So it's going to bake for a while.
You can bake them at a higher temperature.
Yeah,
but,
for a couple hours even. So.
But they'll have like a little marshmallowy texture on the inside. We don't want ours like that. The effect we want to end up with, dry and crispy meringues.
Right.
That's a traditional.
Which is what the recipe calls.
Yes, and those are traditions. So we're just gonna whip this up.
So you can see it's starting to get a whiter color with some bubbles. I'm going to start slowly adding my sugar a little bit at a time. I don't think it's ready yet. My peaks are not. Yeah, see how it collapsed when I picked that up?
Oh, is this what they make and they hold it over their heads?
Yeah, see how mine falls? It all falls down to a goop, so keep going. See the peak is in there, it's staying up there, it's not falling back down inside there. That's good. It reminds you a lot of the texture of marshmallow cream. That's what it reminds you of. So I'm gonna rake this out on my parchment paper. It doesn't have to be any particular shape for this because we're gonna break it up anyway. I mean, if you wanted to be like super neat, you could try to make it into like little piped in things, but you're literally gonna break it into pieces anyway, so what difference does it make? Stick this in the oven for, I'll probably check on it in about 5 hours just to see what it looks like.
So we baked this for 5 hours and we just moved it over to a cooling rack, and that is what it looks like. And we're going to be, like Kevin said, we're going to be breaking it apart anyway. Yeah. So it looks honestly like styrofoam.
It feels like styrofoam. If you pick that up and feel it, it feels like a piece of packing material. All right, so here are my strawberries quartered and basically took the stems out and cut the little part out of the top. This is 6 ounces of strawberries, and I saved what I thought was really good looking 2 ounces of strawberries. Put those to the side. We're only going to use the 6 ounces right now. So what you want to do, take 6 ounces of strawberries, 1/4 of a cup of your sugar, and put it in a pan, and you're basically going to bring it to a boil and let it boil for 2 minutes. So I'm just going to literally dump this all in there and get it on medium heat and let it come to a boil, and I'll be back. All right, so my strawberries have been boiling for 2 minutes. So now I'm just gonna, you wanna take them off the heat, and I'm gonna pour them in a bowl, and you're supposed to let them cool off to room temperature. And then we're gonna blend them, you're gonna puree them in a blender till they get blended. So I'll be back when these are cooled off. All right, so this is cooled off to room temperature. I've got my fancy dancy blender here. So I'm going to But any kind of blender will work. Anything that'll puree them. I mean, you could have even an immersion blender or whatever will work. But it made a nice little like a glaze. I'm just gonna put it back in the same bowl. And basically you're gonna put it in the refrigerator and cool it completely until you're ready to serve it. Hey, we're on our last step, yay! So there's the meringue, got it ready. Got my strawberries puree ready. I got my whole strawberry, or my pieces of strawberry for decoration ready. I've got my 2 cups of heavy whipping cream and 1/4 of a cup of sugar. This is the last step. So you need a mixer because you're gonna make basically whipped cream. So you're gonna put your 2 cups of cream in there. And your sugar. And then you need a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Once you get all that in the bowl, you're just gonna whip it until it forms stiff peaks. Here's my cream. You can see it's all fluffy. So the next step is to basically just break your styrofoam, your meringue, just break it into kind of bite-sized pieces and just throw it in there. Basically what you're gonna do now is just stir it into the cream, fold it in. Take my strawberries and I'm just gonna basically do the same thing, but I'm not gonna stir it in as good anymore. Just want to swirl this in. Take a spoon. I've got these nice little cups here. I'm not very neat, but I'll try my best. You can take your a little bit more on this one. And then you can take your fresh strawberries and just stick a few of them in here for decoration.
So this Eton mess recipe is Mark Hicks's recipe. Mark Hicks. It says Eton mess. Eton is the oldest boarding school in the world, and they are known for academic excellence. So that is where the name comes from. Eton mess is was traditionally served at Eton's annual cricket match against Harrow, a match that was first recorded in 1805 and continues to this day. The name says it all. It is a glorious mess of meringue, whipped cream, and strawberries all swirled together. I love this dessert, the author, and Mark makes my favorite version. He keeps some of the strawberries fresh and he briefly cooks the rest to intensify their flavor, producing a cross between a flash-made jam and a strawberry coulis. Brits, especially of course Etonians, are rather particular about their Eton mess. There are the strict adherents, and then there are the deviators who mess with raspberries and blackberries. Some add strawberry ice cream, some don't swirl their mess, which in theory, I suppose, results in an Eton neat.
So not swirled would be more like a trifle.
Yes.
Like layers.
Yes, and I have seen there are pictures. If you look up Eton mess, if you look up pictures on Google, you can. Some people layer it kind of like a trifle, and so Kevin was going back. Now the way that he has you do it, Kevin followed his recipe until the very, very end. And what he wanted you to do was, when you got your meringue and your cream and your strawberries, like Kevin added it in one big bowl and then put it in the bowl. He wanted you to get individual little dessert cups.
And mix the meringue in individually.
Yes. And
one at a time, but it's like, why would I do that?
We knew we were going to make it all, so
Yeah.
we wanted one big dessert. Mmm.
That's very good.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to try one of these fresh strawberries.
That meringue is not the same on its own as it is in here.
Now, once you add that whip, wow, try it with a fresh strawberry.
My goodness. Well, you only gave me 2 pieces.
I did. I got 2. The fresh strawberry really makes it.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you what, I would almost take,
That is delicious.
I would take some of that fresh strawberry and cut it up into smaller pieces and kind of mix it all in here. Or at least put it on top to have a little bit more of that fresh strawberry because it's really, really good.
This is absolutely delicious. When the meringue was baked, I got a little piece of it and tried it. Did you? And it's plain.
Tastes like sugar.
It's sweet, but it's plain. It has a different texture and everything in this.
It's almost like it collapses because I wonder if that's the moisture of the whipped cream adding to it. It almost like wants to collapse.
This would be a terrific dessert to make if you were having company, but it is not fast.
No, it's not hard to make.
It's very time consuming.
The cooking times themselves, the mixing times themselves are not hard or long.
Right.
It's the long baking time for the meringue,
Right.
and the cool down times of stuff. That's what takes so long. So they actually said in the book to bake it overnight, and then you'd have it ready to go in the morning.
Right.
I don't like to bake things overnight because I just don't like to leave my oven going when I'm sleeping.
Right.
So we just started early and finished up later. So, and it did only take 5 hours. I would kind of check on it.
I think it
around the
depends
5
on
hour mark.
how
Yeah, it depends on how thick you spread it. Because if it's really, really thick, it's going to take longer to harden up. But you wouldn't want that chewy inside for this.
No, you wouldn't.
You would want a crunchy, the solid crunch. You wouldn't want a chewy, marshmallowy inside.
This dessert, though, I absolutely love it. I think it's wonderful.
Very good.
The only thing, like, I agree with what you were saying. The only thing you could do different, he left those pieces on that dessert plate for a topping. What I would do if I was going to make it again, I would dice those up. Not too small pieces, but just dice.
Like hunks.
And I would add hunks in here of that strawberry.
Yeah, because I think it's really, really
Yes.
good. It just adds a really strong burst to that strawberry.
But this is terrific.
It is. I love the texture. The flavor's good.
And this is, we've had it in candy bars. Oh, yeah. We've had it in candy bars, but we've never actually had the formal dessert before. So I absolutely love this recipe.
Very good. I'd make this again.
Yeah. This was wonderful.
I would like to make this for people. Like let Ashley try. Although Ashley's not really big into fruits, and actually, you know what? They wouldn't like it.
Why? Oh, because
Andrew
of
and
whipped
Ashley
cream.
both hate whipped cream.
They don't like whipped cream. They're weird. We have weird children.
Neither one of them like whipped cream.
Yeah, we can't make a lot of things that we would like to make because we're the only ones that eat it.
But anyway, I think it's really good. I think people that like whipped cream would love it.
Yeah, I think it's terrific. So, Dan, Connie, thank you again for the recipe book. We definitely have other things.
Yeah, we have some stuff marked in there.
Marks in here that we want to make. So, thank you all very much. If you've made Eton mess, let us know. Do you do any of the fancy stuff, or are you a traditionalist? Do you do it exactly by the book? So, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.